Oh.
Welcome to our massive audience here. Let's hope there's hundreds watching online.
So, as Andy said, we're very important. We're not really. I don't know where he got that line from. Did you tell him to say it?
No.
We are Light Collective. There's just two of us in Light Collective, and we're essentially architectural lighting designers, and we've both worked in the lighting industry for over 20 years probably now.
And sort of during our time together, we've begun to not only work on lighting projects, but to film lots of things to do with light. We felt like film was a really good way of capturing things that a photo can't. So, light isn't static, and a film sort of shows how light interacts with time and people and space. And you're going to have to start using use a clicker.
I've just used my clicker. It worked,
Okay.
Look. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the perfect light experience. And we're going to start off, though, by showing you some of these films that we've made. We've made videos about art, about light in architecture, about social light, about guerrilla lighting, light events, light and people. Basically anything we saw that we thought was cool when we were out and about in different locations for different projects.
So we were travelling a lot for our work, travelling all over the world, and we realised it was a really valuable thing to do, to take a few minutes out to look at light in lots of different places. Have to say, all of our filming's done on iPhones or iPads, and bear in mind that, we're lighting designers, so it's not the best film.
It's very amateur, obviously. So we filmed things like the Tyrrell Sky Space in Yorkshire. Eleanor yesterday talked about two sky spaces. This is another one. And we filmed that because basically we were going to a meeting up north. We were driving and we thought, well, let's stop off and do it. So we've made some time to see these things.
So each of the films that we made over the last sort of 5 years were essentially intended to record all the wonderful things that we experienced so that we could share them with the lighting community online. So this one was at PLDC in Paris, and it's a trip to the Palace of Versailles we were lucky enough to do.
But then we had an idea about trying to make a film that was a bit more involved, a bit longer, and we also wanted it to be topical.
So this is about 4 years ago we started it. So we wondered how everyone was feeling about LEDs. So LEDs had sort of superseded all of their predecessors, all of the other light sources, and we wondered if it was something that was good to investigate in a film format.
So this idea launched the Perfect Light Project, and we went off to undertake the making of a 30-minute film that questioned the ubiquitous use of LEDs, as Sharon said.
In the technology of delivering light from electricity.
From a sociologist's point of view, the best kind of light is the most responsive light. The light that can be changed, that can be adapted to all circumstances. So if you have something like LED, which can be made to change in its color temperature, its responsiveness to movement around it, that would be a perfect light.
So as you can see by the slide at the end there, our supporter on this was Citizen LEDs. They're a big LED manufacturer, chip manufacturer, based in Japan. And they were really keen to get to know the lighting design community and to understand how they could improve their product for that community.
So therefore they were a really great fit for what we'll grandly call a documentary, which looks at our sort of use of LEDs as designers and the idea of LEDs being a perfect light.
So obviously we've been making the YouTube videos for quite a few years. When we made this film, the 30-minute film, we realized that actually we are lighting designers. We're definitely not filmmakers. It was
or YouTubers.
Or YouTubers either. It was an incredibly hard process.
But proudly, we've shown this film in cities. I've got a massive list here. I won't bore you with it. But in cities all over the world. And lots of people have contacted us to be able to show the film as well, even without us being there.
In fact, it's been shown in Singapore next week, I think, isn't it?
It's been shown in London, in Chapman BDSP this week.
Wow.
It just keeps going.
Okay. So, but unfortunately for us, it didn't actually end there. The project continued in 2018 when we held a competition looking for people to contribute to our ongoing experience into what is the perfect light. So this time we wondered if it was possible to look for and find a perfect light experience.
which is a phrase we've sort of invented ourselves. And when we say perfect light experience, we hope that all the people out there that love light understand what we mean. We mean a sort of a moment, an event or a space that's all about light that creates an amazing emotional reaction. So we're going to give you a couple of personal examples of what that means to us.
This is the Dan Flavin exhibition that was on at the Hayward about 12 years ago.
There's something like this, like being immersed in the Weather Project in the Tate by Olafur Eliasson.
Another one that Eleanor would approve of, a Torell installation in Jana in Sweden.
So these are all things we've done and felt that were, you know, pretty much a perfect light experience. Swimming in bioluminescence in Thailand.
Watching crazy people in Manhattan witness Manhattanhenge. If you don't know what that is, ask me afterwards.
Or having the opportunity to see the Milky Way in Chile, in the Atacama Desert.
So, bearing our examples in mind, for this second film, we planned a trip to include spending time in natural surroundings, viewing elements of the city, and then immersing ourselves in light art.
So we had space for 3 people to come with us on our search for a perfect light experience. And the experience, because Citizen are Japanese, consisted of a 4-night trip to Japan in June last year.
So we wanted to select people who were basically passionate about light and to offer them a chance to experience, share and discuss light as part of our journey to find the perfect light.
So we asked anyone that wanted the opportunity to join us to upload a 1-minute video describing a perfect light experience they had or would like to have for a chance to be part of it. So we're just going to show you the 3 winners. This is Alita Escobedo. She was from Mexico.
Old, I was a small dancer preparing for a rehearsal in a theater back in Tijuana. I was in the seats of the theater waiting to start. Technicians were preparing the lighting. They had down 5 electric bars, each with 5 zoom-in licos, 4 sets of strips with 6 Fresnels. They were connecting everything until they suddenly decided to raise the electric bars. As they went up, they were turning on different luminaires. I remember feeling that time stopped or passed very slowly. At that moment, thanks to intensity, color, direction, and movement, I realized the power of the stage lighting. It was a shocking and magical moment. I had found my place in the world thanks to that perfect light experience.
The second film is by Francesco Anselmo from Italy.
The blue and orange flame proceeds slowly, showing the contour of my hand. The stick glows red before turning black and disappearing again. I trap this fire inside a translucent cage, like the heart of a mighty star, steady, flaring, shimmering through the veined walls and flickering before my sleepy eyes. On a different night, I think I can find its ingredients, like I could taste the color and conjure up the perfect recipe. But what does perfect really mean? Is it faultless, complete, accurate, absolute? I look at the dark sky and measure both time and space with light. Light is perfect. Then I close my eyes.
And then lastly, the last person we selected to come with us was Stuart Alexander from the UK.
So here's the team in full, and we set off on our trip with our trusty iPhones and iPads to capture the experience.
So we're just going to share a couple of clips with you from this journey.
But I don't really need to know. I know where you're gonna go. On my heart where you're resting your head, and you just look so beautiful, just like you were an angel. Can I stop the flow of time? Or can I swim in your divine? 'Cause I don't think I'd ever leave this place. Oh, turn the lights down low. Yeah, now I'm feeling you breathing slow. 'Cause baby, we're just reckless kids trying to find it.
Okay, so we started off in Tokyo. We visited various areas of Tokyo, the media facades in Ginza, the contrast of the neon and the traditional lanterns in Shinjuku.
And then we left the city to spend some time in nature.
I think because most of us actually live in non-natural environments, I think people would be more impressed by cityscapes if they lived in non-city environments and probably did actually live in the wilderness. So I think we're actually looking at the opposite emotion of going back to these places, seeing nature, feeling nature's environments. You might only see a sunset 3-4 times a month. You might not, be able to see it, or the weather's not great. But when you're within the landscape, you always kind of experience and feel those emotions.
We can only show you tiny clips because we've got 15 minutes.
Yeah,
That's right.
and then we ended our trip by spending a night in James Turrell's House of Light. That house it's basically a house that is a light installation in a rural location that was designed for an arts festival.
And it's a traditional Japanese house that references is a really famous lighting essay called In Praise of Shadows by Junichiro Tanizaki. Good pronunciation. I know, did well there.
You are in light, which is moving off water. You have removed your clothes. You have cleansed the body to be immersed in a fluid that's about body temperature, and your body produces a play of light.
Coming down into this bay and being really close to the water while the sun was really low and everything glistening perfectly at the perfect angle, so that you just get a perfect mixture of blue and then the reflection of the sun coming back up. And it was such a complicated pattern with the...
That first image, that was the light bath, which was an amazing space. And when one of the rooms is also a sky space, like the spaces that Eleanor has shown, but it's actually inside a room and you lie back on Japanese mats, and it does a 45-minute show at dusk and dawn.
In the way that In Praise of Shadows is a philosophical...
And this is time-lapsed and speeded up, so you can't
shadow,
really get
light,
the
and
subtleness
other
of
things
it from this.
I feel like
But
what
it's
I've
amazing
learned
how the
from my
space just
experience here is
flips
that
to being
shadow and
inside and
light is
outside
also
when the colours match up.
moments between.
So Japan was an amazing place to look at and think about light. So we sort of learned that a perfect light experience could be man-made, it could be natural, but it really did depend on lots of other factors, like the people we were with or how we were feeling.
But most importantly, I think the thing that we got out of the trip and the people that were with us, they learned that it's really good to take time and stop and look at light, just even when you're walking through the street, see what's around you. And I think it sounds cheesy, but sometimes the journey and the search are more important than the destination and what you find.
So we've got 19 seconds to finish on. So you can see both the films in full on Sunday here at Dark Room. They're being shown in the other room. or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch any of our other videos, which will include all of the talks here today and yesterday.
Yep. Thank you very much. Andy, thank you for the brilliant introduction. We're going to step off the stage now and someone will be on in shortly.